Tanjil calling in from Australia. Let's hear it from Tanjil.
Hey Dan, hey Puck. Nice to see you together on the show. Look, I'll ask my question, then hang up, as it's not really a discussion topic. You both seem to have a huge range of knowledge. Can you tell me roughly how much time per week you would spend in research and keeping abreast of new topics? Thanks, guys. Love the show and look forward to your response. Bye for now.
No, I do like how Tanjil said she likes seeing us on the show when she is not watching this show right now, but that's fine. As far as me, I work a job right now where I get to listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm at work and audiobooks. And so I am listening to one of those two like 5 days a week. And some of it's just personal interest stuff, but a lot of it is stuff related to this show. I keep up with a podcast that covers topics related to InfoWars and Alex Jones. I listen to another one that talks about history. And I always I'm trying to read a couple books a month, and keep up with that. And you typically, not always, but the books that I read are kind of always going to eventually be related to the show, just because our show is so broad and covers so many things. But I'm constantly looking at this stuff because I am fascinated again by just the dynamic spectrum of human beliefs, and that is something that just really drives me to want to learn more. And so I can read some obscure Reddit posts that in the middle of the night and think about like what if this thing is true? How do we know? I do that probably too much, which is why I have all this knowledge that would not be useful for a lot of people outside of the context of this show. But yeah, that's me.
As far as I have recently started working with nonprofits, and they, unlike most other ACA call-in shows, they know what they're going to be talking about well in advance, and we get sent a number of articles to research and to figure out what in-depth topics we want to talk about. We'll often talk between the other hosts, like, okay, this is where I want to go, okay, I'll pick something different so that we're talking about a large different things. But it's nice to know what they want to talk about so that we can work off of there too. A tremendous amount of research goes into this, and I would say that for just specific to nonprofits, I'm doing at least 5 to 6 hours of research just on those. And that's something that just recently started. Other than that, I love informative podcasts, not necessarily to any topic, but just learning stuff in general. And this is why one of my favorites to listen to is the Freakonomics podcast, which they'll talk about everything. One of the recent ones that I listened to was about the invention of a keyboard to write Chinese characters, which is there's so many more characters in the Chinese language than there are in English, right? We just need the keyboard as it is, but they had to come up with a very elaborate system to use a keyboard the size of a standard keyboard to type out the entirety of their language. So I just love picking on this stuff. I'll go to bookstores and just go to a section on something that I never even knew existed just to start learning about it. I am fortunate to have a job where I have access to my phone pretty much the entire time, and I can listen to anything I want. So there's always some informative thing going on. But it's not really directed. It's not really, I want to learn about this subject. More like, let's just turn this podcast on. Let's just go somewhere random with a lot of knowledge and just learn whatever it is that they're going to want to teach me. The only exception, though, like I said, was working with nonprofits. Most of those are going to be about politics or current events, which keeps me nice and grounded in reality and in the present. But that's, like I said, 5 to 6 hours. And you're asking a number of hours. Maybe I would say I probably do about 30, 40 just learning hours in a week.
Yeah. I don't know how I could qualify or quantify rather the number of hours I do either, because I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens to end up in a show sometimes, because it's like, oh, well, I just read about this for 2 hours the other day, so I can actually talk about this, but yeah, it's funny because like you, I enjoy trying to research things ahead of time if I can, if possible. But this show doesn't allow that. because it's just like I sometimes I'll get asked about something I have no idea about. And I just have to use everything I know about everything else to kind of just hold myself together. And that's all right. It makes me feel good, too, because it's like, you know, if I'm ever not satisfied with the way that I took a call or something, it's like, well, I didn't know anything about it and I was asked. So I did my best. That's it.
Well, I mean, that being said, it is kind of nice when advance notice does come in. Like a number of calls have come in for people who have emailed or have brought something up in a Facebook group where we actually can go back there and look at this and look at the advanced material. So when the call comes in, it doesn't have to be an introductory lecture. We can pick it up from there and say, okay, well, if the viewers want to learn more about this, go to here's some information for you, but let's continue this conversation. And I think those can lead to more in-depth conversations about the topic, like Raelians.
Like Raelians. Like Raelians.
And I just also wanted to point out that Tanjil is probably a name that if you've watched any ACA productions, you've probably seen that name. She's just got her grubby little Australian paws and everything. She does. If you can think of an ACA project somewhere, it's got her fingerprints on it. And not just for Tanjil, but everybody that we've taken calls from today has made so many great contributions in ways that I don't even know, but in a way that if they weren't there, this organization would not be what it is. So thank you
absolutely
to Tanjil for your question and everybody else who asked questions today as well.
Yes, thank you everybody that contributed to today's show, and I hope for you guys who are listening at home, you know, we couldn't be there live this week, but hey, I hope you like this. Let us know what you think about us doing this kind of pre-recorded show. Did you like it? Did you have no opinions about it? I don't know, whatever. We like to hear about it because this is a show that likes to experiment with how we do things. So, we want to know, what are the results? What did we get from it? One thing I didn't do before we took calls, Puck, is I did not thank the patron of the week, and we should probably do that right now. So this week's patron of the week is brought to you by, and I want to say the letter because it's like Sesame Street, but this actually has a lot of letters in it. It's CPE9CE. So thank you, CPE9CE, for being the patron of the week. And if you would like to become a patron of the week, there's a way you can do that. It's patreon.com/truthwanted. All of the donations to our Patreon helps make this show better. And I want to thank you guys for donating to that.